From the studios of Chillicothe High School, this is your CAVS News Show.
Hello, I'm Dylan Young.
And I'm Logan McCord with our CAVS News Update.
We at CHS have recently had our Veterans Day Assembly, Friday, November the 8th. Here is some footage from the event.
The staff and student body of CHS were honored to have so many veterans in attendance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's really the least we can do. You stood up in a time that our nation needed you. You fought for freedoms that we enjoy today. So right now, I'd ask you to stay seated. For once, relax. Let us rise and give you a round of applause for all you've done for us. Student body, staff, let's give these veterans a round of applause for all they've done for us in our country.
I thought rather than write my own speech, I would use a much better speech that's been written. And in honor of our 16th, and in my opinion, our finest president's speech given on November 19th, 1863, I want to read to you the Gettysburg Address. I know you've heard it a few times, but I'd like for you to really think about what Mr. Lincoln was saying, because in this very short speech, he said a lot for us to remember, and for those who have served us, and also a lot for us to think about as we move forward. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you.
The CHS Marching Band held the Last Blast concert Thursday, November the 7th. The concert was a great success. Here is some footage of the event. The marching band is one of our best performing groups. Speaking of events, here's Bethany Truman with your community calendar.
Thanks, Dylan. This month, we in Chillicothe have a lot to be thankful for, including all our wonderful holiday events. You can get started on your holiday shopping at the Downtown Holiday Open House. This all-day event includes carriage rides, an opportunity for pictures with Santa, and a special tree lighting ceremony at 6 p.m. Don't miss this chance to shop and explore our historic downtown. The 9th annual Turkey Trot will be Thanksgiving Day, November 28th. Runners need to be at the park by 7 a.m., and the event will begin at 9 a.m. Make sure to come out and cheer on your favorite runners. If the Turkey Trot is not to your liking, the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will be broadcast Thanksgiving morning, so be sure to check your local listings for times and channel numbers. The Chillicothe Civic Theater will be performing It's a Wonderful Life the musical December 5th, 6th, and 7th at 7 p.m. and then December 8th at 5:30. At the Majestic Theater, doors open at 6 p.m. on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 4:30 on the 8th. Tickets will be $12 for adults, $10 for seniors and students ages 12 and up, and $8 for children under 12. If you'd like to order by phone, you may call Sue Osborne at 775-3431, Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. You can also order online at the Chillicothe Civic Theater website, www.cct.kennard-tickets.html. The 29th annual Rock for Tots will be December 6th at 6 p.m. Tickets will be $5 pre-order and $10 at the door. You can pre-order tickets at Coffee Central, BBC Music in Chillicothe, Pike County Pawn Shop, Acoustic Music Shop in Waverly, and Hummingbird Music in Jackson. You can find more information at www.rockfortots.org. That's all for your community calendar. I'm Bethany Truman. Happy Thanksgiving, Chillicothe. Now back to you, Logan.
Thanks, Bethany. Are you going to see It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes, I am. It seems pretty cool. Did you know that this play did not do so well when it was first released? This movie wasn't famous till it was released on TV. Speaking of interesting facts, here's Anthony Polakowski with Did You Know?
Thanks, Dylan. Hi, I'm Anthony Polakowski, bringing you some facts about my favorite day of the year, Thanksgiving. Did you know presidents, including George Washington, sometimes issued an annual proclamation establishing a day of giving thanks? But there is no official holiday on record until 1863, when President Lincoln received a letter from a 74-year-old magazine editor named Sarah Hale. Sarah Hale petitioned for a national Thanksgiving holiday for close to 40 years, believing that Thanksgiving, like the 4th of July, should be considered a national festival and observed by all our people. In 1947, President Truman started the tradition of selecting a turkey and sending it off to a farm to live out the rest of its life in peace. These days, 2 turkeys are selected and the people of the United States cast their votes to name them. Then the president performs a public pardon. In 1924, Macy's employees marched 6 miles from Harlem to Herald Square to kick off the Christmas season. They dressed up as clowns, knights, and cowboys, and were accompanied by marching bands and live animals from the Central Park Zoo. The day after Thanksgiving is called Black Friday. It originated in 1960 in Philadelphia, a city which had most of the malls in the U.S. at the time. That's all for this week. I'm Anthony Polakowski. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, Chillicothe. Now back to Dylan and Logan in the studio.
Thanks, Anthony. Due to Thanksgiving break, we won't have another show until the week of December 6th.
Speaking of the month of December, that means the winter sports season has arrived. Get ready to come out and support our Cavalier basketball team.
Speaking of sports, let's cut to Chris Hucks for our CAVS Sports.
Thanks, Logan. We are in a relatively quiet time in the sports year here at CHS as we transition from the end of the fall season into the beginning of winter sports. That being said, there was still some activity since our last show. Chillicothe took its 9-1 record into Brookhaven for the first round of the football playoffs. Unfortunately, the Cavaliers lost a hard-fought game. It was very close late, but the Cavaliers failed a 2-point conversion that would have tied the game. Brookhaven ran out the clock, and the Cavaliers ended their season with a 29-27 defeat. While they didn't have playoff success, the season was still one of the most memorable in CHS history. The new Obadiah Harris Family Complex was open for use, and the Cavs dominated when playing there. They did not allow a single point to opposing teams that were playing at home. Teams will have to try again next season to get past Chillicothe's rugged defense. Also this season, Coach Hinton captured his 300th win, a milestone that very few coaches in the nation can say they've accomplished. From all of us here at the Cavs new staff, congratulations Coach Hinton and everyone that made this season a great one. Heading into winter sports now, first-year coach Eric Huffer will try and take the boys basketball team to a good season. Their first regular season game will be November 29th. The Lady Cavs basketball team also has a new coach, Mr. Patrick Beard. Coach Beard will also give it his best shot this year to bring success to the program. With 2 first-year coaches, there should be plenty of headlines coming from the hardwood. Be sure to follow Cavs news throughout the season to keep up with Chillicothe's basketball, bowling, swimming, wrestling, and indoor track teams. That's all for this week. Now back to Dylan in the studio.
We recently introduced a new segment called CAVS Q. Here are some of our responses. Dave said, "My favorite part of fall is when the leaves change colors."
And Chuck responded with, "My favorite part of fall is Thanksgiving because of all the food." Remember, you can email your responses to our questions at cavsnews@students.ccsd.us.
The question this week is, what is your favorite part of Black Friday? Now here's Brooke Smith to talk about the CAVS News trip to Athens, including some footage and pictures taken by Bethany Truman, our own CAVS News staff member.
The CAVS News staff took a very educational and exciting trip to Athens, Ohio to tour the campus, sit in on a few classes, and view the filming of WOUB. While at Athens, we arrived to Bentley Hall and started off with a journalism ethics class that we also participated in. We toured the Scripps building and walked through various classrooms and learned a little history along the way. After touring the Scripps building, we walked across the campus to the same building that WOUB is filmed. We learned that Ohio University Athens uses a lot of the same software as we do at CAVS News. At the end of the day, the CAVS News staff watched the filming of WOUB and was asked to stay for the critiquing after the show. Throughout the day, we met many professors and all around had an amazing college visit, and we are very excited for the years to come. Thank you, OU Athens.
That's all for this week. I'm Logan McCord.
And I'm Dylan Young. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, Chillicothe.